Hello, welcome to the Lattes and Lore podcast. If you see us laughing and you're watching this, it's because this is our third attempt to record this tonight. Because it's thunderstorming in our area, so our power and all the fun things have not worked in our favor. But this is episode 4. We're diving into another section of Fourth Wing.
We're so glad you're here.
Yes. Please, if you listen to this and you like it, rate and review us. Like us, all the fun things would be much appreciated.
Yes.
So let's dive in for the second time tonight, shall we?
We can try. We're like, the universe doesn't want us to talk about dragons, and we want to talk about dragons. So let's make it happen.
Right. So we left you guys off last episode right after some big fun events happened.
Yes.
One of the wing leaders was executed for breaking the codex, and they do swift justice in the Riders Quadrant. Like
they sure do. They straight up turned her into the gingerbread man. They burnt her to a crisp. She is no longer. Sorry, Amber. R.I.P.
Well, and it was one thing about that, like Violet's like, oh my gosh, please don't do it. We can be friends. Like, dude, she tried to kill you. Stop. Like.
Oh, Violet.
And Taryn's like, sorry, sis, it's gotta happen, and just like burns her to a crisp. He's like, sorry, her dragon will be all right when it's time. You know, like no remorse whatsoever. Yeah. But
so we pick up like we know.
There. Yeah.
Yes, we know that Xaden was very concerned about Violet's safety now going on, and now she has a bodyguard who is the best bodyguard, and maybe I know he's one of my favorite characters. I want to think he's like everyone's one of their favorite characters in Fourth Wing.
He's very much one of mine, and as y'all all know, spoilers are on the table. We know what happens to poor Liam towards the end of this book. Heart-wrenching. I was like, I know it's a book about a war college, and they're, you know, they go to war, and so, like, people die, but I was like, why?
No, why?
Yeah, he's one of my favorite characters out of this series currently, so.
He is, like, he's so lovable, and he's such a good, he is the golden retriever. He is the handsome guy, the Rico Suave. He is the flirt of the college. I mean, we know Riddick is the flirt as well. But he's also
good at everything. Like, he is solid, one of the top cadets. Like, it's mentioned multiple times. Like, he ran across the parapet. He ran up the gauntlet. Like, he is so just, like, bam, 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 good at all of it.
Like, he is set up to be squad leader. Like, he is set up to be the squad leader next year. And they even talk about that in the book. Like, he's ready. He's ready for it. So he and Violet are going down to see, okay, now my power is flickering. So let's see how long we can get through this podcast. He and Violet are going down to the archives to see Justinia, partly because writers have archive duty. Every once in a while they have to go down, and they're the ones that retrieve the scrolls. And side note, I was going to bring this up later, and I'm going to bring it up again. Why can't anybody have a notebook? Why in every fantasy novel does it have to be like rolls of parchment and quills and all of this?
But also in a pen.
You ain't got a notebook and a pen.
But like Violet mentions, like, I can't wait to channel because I can use a pen. I'm like, y'all had come up with a pencil that you sharpen, like. You know,
right, like a quill.
It cracks me up. I'm like, y'all got lights from like energy and various things like that, you know, from like channeling and all that, but you don't have a pencil.
Like you don't have a pencil? Nope. And I even wrote that down.
It's funny things like that. I'm like, you got books, like bound, stamped. Books. Like, okay,
but yet
cool.
you are walking around with like scrolls like you're in the 1800s, and you know what? It makes it a fantasy book. So they're on archive duty to go pick up the scrolls for Battle Brief, and we see that Justinia, that once again Erica didn't realize Justinia was deaf. She is in fact
Lauren
deaf.
didn't either on a first read. It's okay. You were not alone.
Like Justinia is real deaf, and I didn't realize it until she was outside of the archives, which she leaves the archives. They don't have to stay in the archives, but our interactions with Justinia are mainly in the archives. I didn't pick on up till she was signing outside of the archives, and I was like, oh, she's deaf. Okay, that's good. Thank you for the inclusion,
Yeah,
Rebecca
there
Yarros.
was plenty of clues that it wasn't just an archives thing where you had to be quiet and not allowed to talk. But I didn't pick up on it until my reread, and I was like, pretty sure she's deaf. Cool.
Pretty sure
I love
she's
it.
deaf.
Like, I love the inclusion, and like she does a really good job of having different things in this book, and I love that.
We do.
But it's funny to me because Violet is still so seething with anger that she has a bodyguard. And I
So
think it
mad.
makes her madder because, like, he's a fun person to hang out with.
Right, like she would
Like,
rather
I
just
think
be
it would be
Liam's
easier
friend.
if he was a dick. Like,
Yes, for sure. But everybody loves Liam. He's the personality hire of Fourth Wing. Like he is the
but she's
smiles
like,
and giggles.
the wheel doesn't squeak anymore on the cart because he's fixed it. He's opening doors. Like, all these things she's trying to complain about is because he's a nice person.
He's
Like,
such
he's
a
just
nice
being helpful.
person.
And, like,
I
he
just
carves all
love
these
it.
little, like, wood figurines. So she's like, there's shavings everywhere we go. I know where he's at. Like, she's trying to, like, it's almost like when you have, like, a coworker or somebody in your life that you find annoying, you find everything annoying with
Absolutely, but you can't. It's just but they're so
Yeah.
dang nice. You just love them
Yeah.
anyways.
It's just so funny. And, like, she gets onto him for flirting with Jacinia. And he's like, what? She looks good. He's
looks
he's
good.
just like, why not? But I love this exchange between them two because they're talking, about things. And obviously so many people know about Violet's life because she's the general's daughter and all this stuff. But she has always relied and trusted the archives and the scribes with, like, the information they're sharing is the whole
Everything.
story. Her world gets a little tilted when she finds out what she thought happened in Eratia when they executed the officers. Like, she
Right.
finds out in this exchange here that no, they executed not only the officers but their spouses. They
Yep.
split the children up. So if there were siblings, they went different places. They were fostered here and there, and, like, Liam watched both his parents die. Like, and Violet's like, no, you weren't there. Your name wasn't on the thing. And he was like, I was there when they killed my mom, and I was there at our house when they murdered my dad.
Yep.
Like, and he's not mad at her for asking either.
No,
He gives her
and
so much, like, grace. He's like, no, I'm glad somebody asked because somebody should know.
right.
Because she feels bad. She's like, why am I arguing with him over this? But, like, she's such an information person. It's like the friend part of her brain turned off, and, like, I'm trying to gather info turned on.
Right.
She's like, oh, I'm so sorry.
Right.
But, like, she's freaking out just a little bit.
Absolutely.
Like, what she's known as true, it's not quite true.
And I feel like Violet, especially in Fourth Wing, is very. She's almost like Dane. She's very black and white. Like, no, and she's not. And it doesn't bother her to be like, no, that's not right. And he's like, I was there, friend. Like, I witnessed it with my own eyeballs.
But it's also kind of cool. This is, like, good foreshadowing for big reveals later
Yes.
in this book.
Yes.
For what's to come, because this already plants that seed of slight doubt in her
Yes.
world for her.
Absolutely.
And then, especially as they're taking their quiet cart back across all these, like, pathways and doors and everything, the scroll that Jacinia was like, oh, can you take this to Markham because it wasn't ready.
Yep.
But it falls, it breaks open, they read, and they're like, oh my gosh, Somerton was attacked yesterday, Excuse me.
And you're like,
the scribes get all the information and then they share it, and it's like,
yep.
are we supposed to know about this? So they
Like,
put it back on the cart.
They were like, is
And then,
this?
oh,
is this marked as confidential? Is this, did we accidentally read something we're not supposed to? Let's just roll it up. We'll find out about it in Battle
Yeah.
Brief. Then they just go on.
And even Liam was like, "Oh yeah, we should hear about it in Battle Brief,"
Right.
And him coming from Tyrrendor, they're always kind of like, we don't get all the details.
Right.
They're all kind of very much like we question things more
Yes,
so
absolutely.
than the people that grew up in other places of Navarre. But this kind of plants those nuggets, and it's just so funny because they go on about their day and they show up in Battle Brief, and Violet's so mad. And Liam's like, "Oh, there's Ryerson," and she's like, "Screw you, buddy," flipping the bird,
double bird.
and
he's like, "Do you just like pissing off?" What does he say? She said, and now he's glaring. "Tell me, is it fun pissing off the most powerful rider in the quadrant?" Like, I mean, come on.
And I love it because she's like, "Yeah, you should try it.
You should try it. Try it yourself. Figure it out." I feel like she's like, "Figure it out, fucker," and she just goes on about it.
But Violet doesn't buck a lot of the system yet.
She really doesn't.
But she claps back to Xaden from day one. Like, she has had stuff. Like, other people, she's like, "Okay, I'll be quiet." But it's just so funny.
Right.
That's always, like, a fun clue of, like, what's to come. Like, when that's the person they, lose all their, like, self-control with and
absolutely
everything. But that whole exchange there, and even her squad mates are like, Liam is serving a good purpose. Like, people try to kill you all the time.
Right.
But there's I love the exchange where, like, she freaks out because she finds out Xaden warded her door because she makes the
hysterical
comment that like she's not gonna, like, he's not making Liam sleep in my room or in the floor, and he's like, "No, but I'd sleep in your bed." He's such a shameless
we'd let you
But that's when he drops like, "Oh, he warded your door," sets her off even more because she's like, "I thought this person was going to be trying to kill me, and now he's trying to protect me." Because she can't get it through her brain that, like, his life is tied to her. So, like, even if he wanted her dead, he can't do it.
He can't do it. And that's where Violet is so smart, but the common sense she has none of. She has no street smarts. She can read a book. She can tell you all the languages. Homegirl has no self-perseverance, which I think is going to be an issue later on in the books, like in the end. But I just, so all in that part goes back to like the very, very first part of the books. And it's like, in the very, very first page, it says like the following text has been faithfully transcribed from Navarrian into the modern language by Justinia Neilwork, curator of the Scribe Quadrant of Basgiath War College. All events are true, and all names have been preserved to honor the courage of those who have fallen. In my head, they're all dead. If I just think they're all dead, it doesn't hurt as bad when they all actually die. It does. We know that. But in my head, they're all actually dead anyways, because none of them have any like self-preservation. Like, none of them have any sense of.
You can't enjoy the writer's quadrant.
Right, that's part of it.
Essentially, like, you have to be okay with dying at any moment.
Absolutely.
To cross the parapet.
Like, absolutely, because to cross the parapet, you're gonna, like, you could die.
Yeah.
Most do.
Especially the way Rebecca Yarros writes, like, it's all on the table because it's about war, and war's ugly. Bad things happen, And so, and I appreciate that, but it also hurts.
It hurts a lot. Because I freaking like these characters.
I know, but it's so funny. And so, like, in that whole exchange, and we got the comedian of Riddick, and Riddick is one of my favorite characters.
We love him.
I love him when he starts getting page time, and further in the series, and like Onyx Storm, I love him even more, which we'll get to that in a few podcasts.
Oh, Onyx Storm. Oh, I can't imagine how many segments that's going to be.
That'll be a few, but
it will.
I love her squad because they're so close. Even like right now when this is taking place, this scene in like November-ish, roughly, it mentions the other squad mate, Nadine, is still not fan of the marked ones and not loving it, but she eventually gets there and is like
Yeah.
part of their family in
Yeah.
that squad, and I love that. But it's just so funny. Violet's so mad. She's like fumbling with her supplies. So I'm just picturing someone jerking out all their stuff. Like you ever,
And their
you know,
bag
like in
falls
like high
everywhere.
school or in college, and like the person who's having a really shitty day is like jerking all their crap out. You're like, oh. This is what I
They set
picture
their
right here.
book down
Violet's
like,
there's like, duh, you know,
damn.
and then it's like you drop your pen, and like essentially she drops her quill, and like the shadows are like, peace offering, here you go. Like to me, that's the equivalent of rushing out of your house and the door handle catches like your shirt or something, and you're just like, oh my gosh,
Or you're washing your hands and the water goes up your sleeve.
Yes.
It's just like the end of everything. So she's having a meltdown because now she's more mad. And then like they see, so one thing I have noticed is in the middle of all of like Xaden and Violet's like banter, Rebecca Yaros likes to hide information.
Yes.
Like she just is,
Yes.
because you're so focused on their relationship that when you get into the rereads, you catch little things. Like in this part where she's pissed off and Xaden hands her a pin with the shadows, it's like we know that the winners of squad battle get to shadow a current squad. They get to go to the front lines and see like what life is really going to look like. So that's something they're looking forward to. And we know that like when we go into the next chapter, November is keep going on. No one's talking about what's going on in Summerton still. Violet's still like, what's going on? Like, why aren't they sharing anything? And then we know that Violet in the beginning is not channeling, because Taryn says,
She's
you know,
feeling that pressure because like so many other writers
yes,
are channeling and even getting signets and stuff, and so
yes,
they're all kind of on edge.
yes,
And because you know all the older writers are like, once you start channeling you got to manifest a signet, or like a few months later you like dead.
yep,
You know. I'm like,
absolutely,
whoa.
absolutely.
It's funny because there's so much pressure too, because it's like you're trying to stay on your dragon so you don't die. You're watching
Which people are
corners
doing
so
all the
you don't
time.
die. Right, like writers are falling left and right because gravity is a thing, you know.
Yeah, like to the point where they're not doing some of the exercises because so many people are dying.
Right, and so, you know, Dane being the squad leader, he's like, y'all need some map practice time to practice
Yeah.
for challenges and stuff. And so, like, they're all in there, and, you know, Violet is so distracted by her emotions and how ticked off she is. She can't even focus to, like, actually learn how to fight.
Right.
And I agree with, like, Xaden in this when he's, like, quit practicing with a bow staff. I'm sorry, she's like 5'0". Quit swinging a broom handle around. It's not
Right.
doing good. Like, quit. Like, just stop.
Her and Leonin are fighting back and forth. She's pissed off at Xaden. She makes snide comments, and he's like, "Not on you." And Liam's like, "None taken. No offense, none taken." And it's just like, so she's mad and whatever, and then she turns her head, and the person that she's mad at is half naked, like sparring with Garrick, who is also, we know, is super attractive too, as he's described in the book.
They're built for battle, so like it's a
They are. So then she's like, son of a bitch. And she just gets more mad and she gets more mad. And then her and Xaden get into this verbal like headbutting to where she's like, you know, am I supposed to trust you? Like you're trying to, everybody's telling me you're trying to kill me and I'm supposed to trust you? And like all this other stuff. And then like she starts feeling these rushes of power, like she just
and
keeps
Xaden's
feeling
like mad too because he's like, I've been helping you this whole time, and she's giving him zero credit.
None.
She's like, no, Liam has, Rhiannon has, like, and I'm like, oh my gosh, he's been trying this whole time to figure out why you can't keep your seat, to teach you how to fight, and like all these things.
And she just doesn't care because like the underlying thing is like, we know that Violet is the smallest. We know that she is the smallest person in Bad Sky. We know that she is the baby of the college. Like she's the baby of, Lilith. She's the teeny tiny baby that everyone tries to protect and everyone tries to shelter. And that's part of her issue with Dane. and she doesn't want to be sheltered. She doesn't want to have a shadow. She doesn't want to have a bodyguard. But she
But
is a
also,
danger magnet.
she gets mad at people trying to teach her how to fight.
Right, and I'm like, bitch, you can only have it one way.
Yes, I'm like, okay, granted, she was also mad in this scene because Rhiannon was taking it easy on her, because Rhiannon's like, you're so distracted, I don't want to hurt you.
I don't want to hurt you
Like-
because you can't freaking pay attention because you're so damn mad. Like, come on.
But, you know, at the end of all of that, like, back and forth, you know, Dane tries to step in, and Xaden and Violet both are like, no, like, quit. We do not want your opinion on this at all. Like,
Back off,
and I'm just
Davey. Whatever.
I'm just picturing, like, the whole squad staring there, like, what's about to go down? Like, are they gonna fight or something else? You
Yeah.
know, like,
They're
what
gonna fight
is
or they're
about
gonna fuck? What's gonna happen? We don't know.
Right? Because I'm just like, what is it? Because
Something's gotta happen.
That's the tension you cut with a knife. Like, I'm
Yes.
sorry. You're like,
And
what
Liam
is
poor
happening?
Liam is so used to it. He's just over there carving like
He's
this
just
is normal.
I kicked Jack Barlow out, who, like, started this whole argument anyway, because, of course, Jack Barlow's in the training gym, you know,
Like
running his mouth like he's always doing. But
Yeah.
it's just,
Liam's
and I
like,
love it,
walk
like,
the fuck
'cause-
away, Jack. Walk the fuck
right,
away.
like, she shows she can outburst with her emotions,
Yes.
and Taryn's like, you held your own, we're going to start channeling. It's like,
Oh, really? Like that's
this is the moment.
this is the moment. This
Like,
is
this is the
holding in
moment.
our outburst. Like
Because, you know,
what
like,
is
they
not
already
holding
get,
in
like,
our outburst?
right? I'm like, I don't think you handled that well, but okay.
But okay, that's
You know,
fine. So they
and, you know, next scene, Violet's like, I'm feeling all this, and I figured it would take a minute, but, you know, Tana's
just, like,
going
in her
spicy
room,
dragon time, so they're like, here's all our emotions,
dragon
you know.
she's in her room like brushing her hair. And have y'all seen that TikTok where the girl is brushing her hair and then she whacks herself in the head with the brush because her hair won't do what she wants it to do? Like that's where Violet's at. She's
And
having
I'm just
one
like,
of those moments.
oh, her poor scalp, because it says I'm ripping my
Ripping.
brush through my hair. I'm like, girl, ow.
Like, get you a
Because her
wet
hair's
brush, girl.
long. I'm like, ooh. You know,
Ow.
but she's just so mad about
Yes.
everything. And she gets hit with this flood of, like, hard emotions, okay?
Yeah, hard emotions from Spicy Dragon Time. And she's like, what am I going to do? She's like, Rhiannon, I have to go tell Rhiannon. She's like, I've got to tell, like, who do I tell? Do I tell Liam?
She's,
And then
like,
she's
on fire and, like, busts out her door, and there's
Yeah.
Liam just chilling, like, with his wood carving, you know?
yeah, like with all of his little crumbs around him. And he's just like, are you sleeping in the hallway? And he's like, no.
No,
But-
but I'm about to go to bed. He's like, are
But-
you okay?
Are you okay? Like, something's going on. Like, you don't look like, you know, yourself. And he's just like, I'm going to
And
go
she
to
has
bed.
that, yeah, she has that inner battle of, like, why
Liam.
am I super attracted to Liam right now?
Because Liam is super attractive, and she's just like, no, something is wrong. Who do I have to find? I gotta get like away. I have to get away from everyone until Terrence Segale finishes whatever they're
But
doing.
she doesn't even realize what's happening with Tyrion and Segel at this current moment. She's like, oh my gosh, like, you know, like she's on fire multiple ways. Like,
She's like that
she
person
hides
that's
in
like,
her room, sees Liam's gone, and then, like, runs outside.
Yes.
I'm like, because it's like January, or no, it's not quite January. It's like November, December, so it's cold
December.
outside.
she's like that
She's
person
just
running around going, I'm hot. So she gets her jacket on and she just like runs down the stairs, like zoop, runs down the stairs, and
And
who
she's
does
like
she run
outside, like, oh my gosh, you know.
can't
And it's
breathe.
like, and then she
It-
smells Churum and finds Zayden.
into? Zayden
I love
token like
that.
a freight train, like, and she's like, "Is that weed?" Like, she's like, "Are you smoking weed?" And he goes, "Yeah, well, we're not supposed to do that." And he's like, "Well, the people that made that rule aren't bonded to Taryn and Segale, and you got to do something to deal with
Yeah, he's like,
it."
especially when they don't block us out, because, you know, they already feel their dragon's emotions if they're like
Yes.
pretty strong ones, you know.
Yes.
But it's just, but he's toying with her so much in this scene.
He is, and
like,
part of it
she's-
is part of it is
It's
like
on
that sexual
purpose.
tension because they both
Yes.
feel the same emotions. Like they're both feeling, they're just like agony on and on and on and on. And it's like,
And I love it when he's
Liam,
like, "You want to smoke some too?" And she's like, "No." He's like,
no,
"Okay."
okay, I got this.
you know.
I got this. I'll smoke for both of us.
Um,
But she's
it's
like,
just so
Liam,
funny.
where the hell is your bodyguard? He's in the bed. In your bed? Like, he's also just as mad as
I
fire
love
as he
that
could
jealous
be.
moment because she's like, "I don't think I can look at Liam in the face tomorrow," and he's like, "Wait, why?" And he's like, instantly like, "Am I gonna have to kill one of my best friends? Like, what's happening?" you know. It's
And
just
Jealous
funny. And he's
Zayden,
like, "Well,
like,
you're
we've
not,"
loved. He's
because
like,
he's written so well. Like he's that dark, mysterious character that we all love. That's why we read most of
yes,
these books.
yes,
But it's just so good when he's like, "What?" He goes, "No, it would be fine, but you're not in the position to consent to any of it, because these are the
right.
dragon's emotions, not yours." Like, he's big on that,
We
but
love a
yet
consenting
he's making his
king.
move, you know.
Yeah.
Um, but
Again,
it's
he's
so
like, I've been
funny.
helping
He
you
like
for months.
dangles the solution to her, like, "I know how to help you, but you're gonna have to ask me nicely." I'm like,
Yep.
dude,
Ask me
walk away.
nicely.
Like, yeah.
Like, walk away. Ask me nicely, Violence, or I'm gone. And she's just like, I
And then
will
she
kill
has that
everyone.
moment of, "Yeah, you know what? Screw it." And she's
You know
like,
what?
"Would
Screw
you
it. And
pretty
then Zayden's
please?"
like, you know what? Fuck it. He's just like, fuck it. They kiss, and this is where like the kiss, and like Rebecca Yarros is very descriptive. If you are wanting closed door romance, it is not Fourth Wing.
It's not the book for
It's
you. Yeah,
not. She
no.
is very
Uh,
descriptive, very, very descriptive, and she's like, as though he can hear my thoughts, he kisses me harder, all this kind of things. Like, it's a very intense kiss in here, and they keep going on and keep going on and keep going on, and then Zayden is like, no, this is not you.
well,
This is,
I love it because it's like the thunder is what snaps them back to like reality of like,
yes, the thunder snow.
no. And this is when Violet has a handle on her emotions because he taught her how to ground before he was
Yep.
like, "Nah, screw it, we're already here."
Yeah,
Like,
screw it.
Um, but it's so funny when he's like, "You have to go
Yep,
now.
you have to go like
Get
right
out
now.
of here."
Like, this is it. Like, that's it. Thunder snow is common, and Zayden's like, is it? Is it common? And she's just like, tomorrow's gonna suck. Like, that's the ending line, is like, tomorrow's gonna suck. So,
It's so funny though because that scene gives you so much of a nugget though too because
mhm,
that's a clue to Zayden what her signet could be
right.
and everything. Also leads us to one of my favorite lines later from Taryn. With Violet and her emotions. Taryn's my favorite. We could do a whole
Yes.
podcast on all
We
the comments he makes to her in
totally
her
could.
head.
We
I
totally could. Like,
love it.
so when we go on,
Yeah.
tomorrow's gonna suck. They wake up. She tells Rhiannon that she kissed, and she's like, I can't believe I kissed, whatever. And she's like, well, we're gonna be late, so let's just go. It's she's dishing. Liam can't find Violet, so he's like, Penny, Penny,
He's like,
Penny,
"Ready?
Ready?
Ready?"
She's like, I'm not gonna let you in. Everything's fine. Slam. Like,
Yeah.
she's like, keep
I love it
dishing,
because,
keep
like,
dishing.
Rhiannon doesn't play with anybody. Like, after
No.
all these exchanges and stuff, she barely even gives the respect you're supposed to give the squad leader to Dane. She's like, "I'm only giving you
Barely.
time of day because you're our squad leader." Like,
Absolutely.
I love it. And I like how she's like, "All right, you kissed it, but was it good?"
But was it good?
Like, as a true friend, it's like, we
Like,
can acknowledge it maybe
can
was a
you
mistake,
dish
but
it?
how was it?
Like, how was it? Like, I
Right?
want
Like,
to know.
give me all the deets,
details. Give me the details.
Oh.
And then, like, so they're running to class, I think it's where they're running to. Or uh, they're going to some kind of class. They took command in 5 minutes to appoint wing leader after Amber was executed. They're going to some sort of class. And then they run into Zayden. And Zayden looks behind her and his mouth tenses, like, and then Dane comes in again, like, Violet, can we talk? And she's like, now? You want to talk now? And he just keeps talking.
Yeah.
And he's just like, whatever. It's like, he's really pissed off that you let Taryn share your memory with everyone instead of just showing me yourself. And then, like, Violet's like, you didn't ask. You just reached for me. Like,
Yeah,
you,
like demanded it.
like just demand. You didn't ask, and that is not okay. Like, consent. Like, Zayden is just like, this is not in control of yourself. And Dane's over here reaching for faces, which it's just like, he wants to get their recent memories. Dane. Whatever. And,
But also, like, Rebecca does such a good job writing Dane's character
mm-hmm.
because, he's like was a good friend of hers. Like,
Yes.
he cares deeply for her, and he's terrified that she's in the writer's quadrant and terrified she's bonded to dragons because he's expecting her to be on the death roll at any given moment.
Yeah.
Like,
absolutely.
He's, we hate him in this book because he makes some dirt decisions.
We do hate him in this book, but he does get he'll get a redemption arc maybe
later because you have to remember he's like 21,
Macaroni
maybe
wants
20,
to say hi, everyone.
Not quite 22. Hello, Macaroni.
Macaroni, the podcast cat. But he's just like, it's just she has to struggle with Dane because Dane is very overprotective and everything, and she's like
they don't know how to be friends now. Yes. Like he doesn't know how to be her friend as her being a writer.
Right.
He sees the Violet he grew up with that was always hurt, always needing help.
Yes,
always just like on the struggle bus essentially, and he doesn't know what to do. He's like 21, maybe 22 already, depending on so like granted, he's young. He's not making the best choices, and he is a ride or die for the rules. Like, he proved that during threshing because he would not have done anything to have saved Violet, and I think she's deeply mad about that, even though she tried to brush it off. So, like, they've had multiple arguments, and she's put him in his place multiple times at this point, and he's just trying to grasp the situation. But and like after we get this scene, Violet goes back up to her own antics to figure out who's on the challenge board for her. And because their challenges are coming, she finds out Jack Barlow is going to
the freaking murderer himself.
And this scene, though, with her and Liam, when she's like, okay, I have to tell you something, and I know you tell Xaden. He goes, I relieve worries. He's like, that's all I do.
Yeah.
Like, he's trying to brush it off that he doesn't, like, fill him in on, like, everything that's happening throughout the day.
But he does. We know he does.
But she's like, well, are you my friend or are you my assignment? Like, she challenges that. He's like, I'm your friend, but also I owe him my life.
Yeah.
Like he's torn. She puts him in a really crappy position.
She does. And it's kind of like...
She really does. I'm like, that's a really crappy friend move.
It really is. Like, we love Liam, but at the same time, like, he tries to be Switzerland. He tries to be very neutral, and he just can't. If I'm looking down and you're watching the video, it's because my cats have come out after the thunderstorm and they're like, Mom, what was thunder? And I'm like, it was Lilith Sorrengail. Come on, it's okay. So
right.
But it's just I
don't know, there was a lot of lightning at my house, so
hey.
So but she puts Liam in a really tough position because she knows, because he's flat out told her the March ones owe Xaden their lives.
Yes, they do.
Like, he is loyal. But she's
and we don't
mad,
quite know why at this point, but they do owe it.
Right, but we know something has transpired there. And at this point, she's kind of being petty.
She's being real petty.
She doesn't want him to know. But also, I can see some of it, too, because she's like, there's nothing he can do about it.
Yep.
Like, without making her look weak. Like, he can't step in and change this. Like, Xaden's been able to manipulate the entire situation on almost all fronts up until this point.
Yep.
Because, like, he was able to move her into his wing at the start for no reason.
No question.
Like, he switched Liam to their squad.
No question.
Just because he can. Like, he's manipulated a lot of things. It moved a lot of parts. We find out why he was so headstrong on it before she was bonded to Taryn. Like, now it makes sense, because he's trying to save his own butt, too. Because he's
for sure
got a lot going on besides being a wing leader.
Yeah, he does. We'll find out that.
But when she tells him, I felt so bad for Liam because he's like, I have to tell him. She's like, no, because there's nothing that can be done, and she's
Yeah.
right. But it puts him in such a bad position because
It
he's
does.
like, ah. But
Because he
I
can't.
love when they're like calling out those challenges. She knows what's coming. Liam knows what's coming. But it's also like, she's like, Rhiannon goes to a mat, Sawyer goes to a mat, and like Riddick is like, what? This is not
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
And then this is where we get lovely of like, she's like, all right, Liam, I know it's important to you. You can go find him and tell him,
Yeah.
And he like looks at Riddick. He's like, protect her as your me, like guard her as your me. And I'm like, oh, later in reads that hits so much harder.
It hits
And
so hard. Like,
but Riddick's like, yeah, like I'm 6 inches taller, sure, and built like a bull. I'll do my best, but you better run.
yeah.
Like,
Riddick has just got
so
like the best one-liners ever.
yeah, and you gotta give it to Violet too. Like,
You do.
she came ready.
She
She
did.
wasn't like, but I love how there's some fun hints earlier in these chapters as to like, it notes that like Jack's allergic to oranges, like, cause
Yeah.
it notes it, like, cause Violet notices, cause we're seeing it through her lens, so we only know what Violet knows. That's
And
very
she be
important.
dumb sometimes, guys. Like, she is the dumbest smart person that I know.
For a inquisitive person, she does not ask enough questions. I'm just saying.
She's just like, oh, yeah, that doesn't work. And you're just like, time out, girlfriend. That's like, it's supposed to.
Yeah, but it's fine. Like, it notes, like, she notices, like, multiple, so she's got, like, oranges in her pocket. Like,
Yeah,
she's
she does.
like, and it notes, like, she's good at throwing her daggers. Like,
Absolutely,
good.
she is.
But she can't because it's, like, multiple people are fighting right now. And
Mhm.
Amaterio, their professor, is big on, like, no wielding, no, certain
No
things.
throwing.
And
No, yeah, like, pull it,
so
like,
she steps up to that mat, gonna fight her best. Like, Jack would have killed her. Easily.
absolutely he would have. I love when, like, there's a lot of foreshadowing in this thing. And,
yes.
like, there's a lot of things, like his sadistic grin, and, he forces more and more power into her body. Like, he's pushing, like, he's channeling into her.
That's a crazy thing, because it's like, it never tells us what his signet is. But it says, like, when he's got her down on the mat, she's feeling pulses throughout her whole body. And
right.
Like, it goes through, basically, it's like, if you've ever lived around a farm and touched an electric fence and then touched somebody else, it goes through you and shocks them. That's what's happening to Amaterio and Riddick when they're trying to pull her away from him, because Amaterio's like, stop, and Jack's not. So Violet, like, shoves the oranges up in his face.
Like, breaks his teeth and everything. It's like, you go, girl.
There's so much information in that paragraph, though, too, because it talks about the red in his eyes and, like, all these things. And it's
like, it's so descriptive.
Like, Jack's up to some stuff in this book. Like, what has he been doing? But it never truly says what the signet is, because it's like, she's in pain, but it's like, is he channeling electricity through her?
Right. Like,
pain?
what is he?
Like, what is it?
I just like that it says the biggest thing is, like, he forces more and more power into my body. Like, that is...
Yeah, like
that
that's
is
all it kind of says.
Super
like, she
powerful.
Can feel it.
Right.
Yeah. So it makes you wonder, what is the signet?
Yes, and what's going on with Jack Barlow? We don't, and there's a reason why. And then, so, like, they pull her off, and Riddick's like, breathe, Sorrengail, just breathe. And then he's like, and someone over to the side's like, what the hell is wrong with him? And Violet's like, he's allergic to oranges.
Like, he's allergic to oranges. I'm like, why'd you
tell him? And
then
she passes out.
It would have saved him a whole lot of trouble if she just let him have anaphylaxis to oranges.
Right, just let him die,
Saved him all a whole lot. But I love how, she wakes up, she's like, she knows she's in the healer's quadrant, and she's like, and that's not Riddick sitting beside me.
Right. Like, and she's like, that's not Riddick, and it's Zayden, and his hair's tousled, and he looks like he's been pulling his hair.
He's like flipping a dagger, because he's mad. Like, and it's livid. And I love how he's like, oranges? You turned oranges into a weapon? Because he's also impressed. Like, he's mad, but he's impressed at the same time. Like, it's such like, a well-written exchange.
Like, guys, look at this cat. Like, I just...
he has
wants.
opinions on dragons
What do
too.
you think?
Like,
He's like,
you
she should
know,
have let Jack die. But
absolutely.
it, like, we know that like Jack sliced her arm and everything, and then so this kind of leads into the next chapter where it's just like, you know, you turned oranges into a weapon, and he's left Liam involved, and everything happens, and Zane's kind of like, he kind of has another fuck it moment, and he's just like, you know what? I'm taking over. And she says, like, taking over what? And he said, everything when it becomes to you. So that is a huge
You
change.
know, I would love a little excerpt of the exchange between Liam and Zayden. Like,
I would too. I could use, like, I would just love just a book about it.
well, like, there's a good fanfic out there that someone's
Right.
written the whole Fourth Wing from Zayden's POV. Um,
We love
it's
fan
good.
fiction. You said it's
We
good.
do. We need it in our life. We do. It's so good. But I'm like, could you imagine, like, first off, he had to find him. He's spraying to him and basically is going to blurt out, like, Jack's challenging Violet right now.
Can you imagine
And so
the
in that
chaos?
moment, Zayden has two choices: run and see if he can fix it, or just take his time and see what's going to happen. Because he
Yeah.
can't stop it.
No.
You know, all he can do is hope that everyone's trained her as well as they can, and that, like, Amaterio won't let anything
Won't let
too
Jack
crazy
kill her.
happen. But it's Jack, because he's already proven he doesn't care about the rules. Like,
He gives no
killed
shit.
multiple people on the first day, and then the first amount of challenges, he was like, you know, like, we're done.
And you're just like, the fuck,
it's-
Jack? Like, Jesus Christ, man.
But that it made me wonder from the start. I'm like, did he truly buy into it's your job to remove the weakest links, or was that just like how he was raised? Like, or did he have a secret mission? Like, why
Like, why does he
was
act like a
he?
jackass 24/7?
Yeah, like, why? What? Like, okay, you're not proving you're the strongest rider by doing any of these things,
Right.
especially after he bonded a weaker dragon.
Right.
You know, like, he's but it's just funny because by the time we get through this exchange, you know, and then after Zayden finds a cool way to give Violet daggers that actually fit her hands,
Yes.
so she can hold on to them. That was kind of cool and funny because he was like, "Get rid of your daggers," and she's like, "What?"
The hell?
And you know, and she
The hell,
notices,
Yonde?
like, knows he has like multiple daggers on him, and he's
Mm-hmm.
like, "Disarm me so you can keep them. It's the only way I
Yep.
can give them to you."
Yeah.
By rules of the codex and everything. But she notes they have Tirish runes on them, and
Right.
that's part of their culture that's been lost since all the treaty and everything.
Yep.
You know,
Yeah.
and it's really cool because it's like, ooh, runes. You know,
Right.
anytime you're reading something, it's like an old language or runes. I'm
An
always like,
old
oh, that's
language. You're
important.
just like,
You know, I'm like,
they don't have books, but they've got, you know, hieroglyphics.
but I'm also like, man, when they show you the runes and stuff, it's like you never see them. But I'm like, I would love. But it's just
Mhm.
like, you know, it's important when she drops that nugget of information in
Yep.
there. So like Violet finally has weapons she can use, and basically we fast forward to like March because it's like
Yeah.
squad battle time.
Yes.
You know,
One thing,
throughout all
there's,
this, I know there's some other stuff that happened.
there's
that you
one
were
line that I
noting, so.
love, and I just love that it says, like, now earn your nickname and try your best to kill me. Like,
Yes.
that's just so good. I just love that. And it's just like, and then it goes to February flies by in a blur of exhaustion. Like, just,
Yeah.
like
Like, it's
gone.
just funny because he only calls her Violence
Yep.
currently. Like, never says Violet.
Never
calls
says her
Violence
name, never
from the
calls her
moment,
Vi,
like-
nothing like that.
Yeah.
So then you go forth to February, and then all of us, like, Zayden keeps pissing Dane off, which is, you know, what Zayden loves to do, because he loves just to, like, he's a pot stirrer. He pulls her all the time, and, you know, for training, and they really are training. Like, this is not just,
Well, like, she's actually working on more, like,
yes,
wielding magic and stuff than what she's learning in Professor Carr's class. And, like,
Right.
he throws that in Dane's face. Like, she's not
Yeah, he
going to
does.
make a signet in that class.
she's
But, you know,
not.
he's taught her how to ground. He's taught her all these other things. He's trying to
Mhm.
figure out, like, how can I keep you alive? Because I'm graduating. Like,
Right.
I will not be here in a couple months to even remotely try to protect you.
Right.
Um, And like he's banking on Liam being there to do so, but it's just like he has to get. And at this point, like they bonded to their dragons in October, and she still can't keep her seat. Like she falls unless Taryn's holding her on, which is crazy.
Yeah.
And
she like can't do, and it's just like everything. Keep like up to this point, it's just like, well, I guess you can't learn anything, and it's kind of true. Like it's kind of true that like because she can't do some of the basicest, like the most basic.
It's like it's a physical thing. Like she doesn't have the physicality to do it. And it's not that she's not trying. Like, and multiple people are trying to help her, and they're like, I don't know.
We don't
built different.
She is.
Like it just
she's
says
small.
She's built different.
Her joints don't work. She is stubborn as hell and doesn't want any help other than Xaden's. And that's only because he doesn't treat her like a baby. Yeah.
You know, and doing all these things. Like, multiple people are helping her, and she's trying. But it's just like, that's a big thing through this. Like, she still isn't keeping her seat. Like, she still is struggling, but, like, no one can figure it out. Even Taryn can't really help by, like, oh, let's try sitting this way or anything like that, you know? But he can hold her in magically. But she's like, I don't want you to do that. And I love, she's like, but what about your power? And he's like, I have plenty. Like, don't I have plenty.
He's just like shit going on.
The Taryn one-liners are so good throughout this. He's like the grumpy dad.
Yes.
That everybody loves.
Yes, absolutely.
And I love how, like, you know, basically the dragons are supposed to line up like in formation like the squads do.
Yep.
But Taryn's like, no, you can move over, Kath. I'm not giving you any space. I don't care if you are the squad leader.
Right. Like
Taryn's just like, I am here, bye.
Like it's just so part of it.
It's so good. And then like, so March leads us into the squad battles.
Yes.
Or they're coming up. The squad battles are soon. So that's like the buzz around campus essentially is squad battle. But I like, there's a moment like right when it talks about it's March, squad battles, Xaden's taking Violet flying, even though it's too cold according to the first year dragons, and he's like, no, the professors just want y'all to get ready for squad battles. Like, we have flight maneuvers this afternoon. But there's that fun exchange where like she makes a comment, he holds the door open for her, and he's like, old habits die hard. Like, just like and nixes it, like, don't talk about it.
Don't talk about it.
But they're like on their way up to the flight field, and they run into Panchek, Colonel Atos, and Mama General, you know. And it's like, poor Violet has that like slip of mom, and then she's like, crap, you know, like, shove that back in my mouth. You know, it's such an awkward encounter, because I'm like, can everybody tell that Lilith can't stand her daughter? Like, is that like a known like discussion other people have? It's gotta
be. Like, it's so hard for me to like understand that dynamic. Like, I just don't get, like I don't know if maybe she's like, there's got to be something, because we're only getting it through Violet's eyes, so there's got to be something more that we're not getting about their relationship. And like, she's like,
right, but like it's well known that like Violet had a good relationship with her dad, you know,
and I feel like it's like Violet is more of an emotional person. Like Mira is the soldier, like she is the, you know, gold standard of who's doing everything, and you know, and it's just wild. And she's like, and like even she notices, like she's like, I want to be built and composed as she is, as compartmentalized, but I just can't. I'm not built like she is, like Mira is. I'm my father's daughter, which is interesting. And I wonder if that's some kind of foreshadowing that we haven't gotten yet, because we know that there's a lot of things to go with there. And like Violet, it's very clear throughout this whole series that Violet is not like anyone else. She's not like anyone else. She's not like anyone else. She's not built like anyone else. And there's got to be a reason why, and we get to see a lot of it.
But that's also been very apparent, like, when she's trying to say all these negative things to Taryn, like, during threshing, he's like, I know who and what you are.
Yeah, Violet Sword.
When I chose you.
Yep.
You know, like, and in Darna's, like, I chose you for a reason. Like, her dragons know, because, you know, throughout the early parts of this story, it's like, oh, they choose you for your ruthlessness and all these things. And Kaori's like, we actually don't know why they choose their riders, because we don't exactly get to ask them. You know, like that part's a very secret. But I love they have that exchange, and it's like Atos is like, I want to know, are you channeling anything from the little golden dragon? And Terrence and me are like, no. And
And he's
Violet's
just
like,
like, he
no,
said,
she's,
because I even
which,
wrote it down. It's
you
like,
know,
do not speak of it. And it's like, because we are not, like, it's
it's like
noted that, like,
serious red flags are
yes.
going off. Like, do not share that information. And,
Mm-mm.
you know, it's a weird, interesting thing because Atos and the mom, like Lilith, are both like, well, we remember your dad researching feather tails, and we've had scribes researching them since threshing,
But we
which is
can't find this
interesting.
stuff.
And I like how it notes, like, I wrote it down because it's like in her bed, she's like, I know exactly where his notes are. In the
Exactly.
one
Yes.
location he spent majority of his after hours time.
Yep.
And she's like, but she knows she cannot share that. And she basically, like, she doesn't lie, but she brushes it off that, like, in Darna, you know, Feathertails don't channel and, like, stuff like this. And she's not entirely wrong with the information she currently has.
Right.
You know? And that's when you get
She's
this
not.
interesting, because, like, Lilith is like, yeah, try to do something cool because you've squandered power. Like, she basically downs her daughter right in front of, you know, high-ranking officers,
And doesn't give a damn
Violet
shit.
has that
Like,
moment of like she wants to step in front of Xaden to block him, and she's like, "But I don't want to make him look weak."
right.
And then they have that weird exchange. He goes, "I proved my loyalties years ago," and it's like, "Oh, what
Oh,
happened?"
you did? What did you do?
You know, and he kind of he's like, boundaries, Violence, boundaries. You know,
Yeah.
like he But also, like, when he's like, I didn't realize things were like that, because he expected Lilith to know how Violet didn't die and when
Right.
she was attacked. And she's like, I don't
Right.
see her, you know? And, which I'm like, that's wild. Like, your mom didn't, like, find an excuse to come talk to you after you were almost strangled and unalived in your room. Like, someone broke the codex trying to kill you, and the general of the college didn't come. Like, nothing. Like, Panchek didn't call you into his office for like a quick meet, and I'm like, that's wild. I'm like, does she is she I wondered if, like, okay, I was like, okay, one, either that relationship has something really crazy going on, something has gone down,
Right.
or she's distanced herself for a reason to protect Violet.
Sorry, the cats have
No,
just
you're
taken
good.
over the podcast.
But that was always like my thoughts with it. I'm like, something's going on there. Like, she's distanced herself for a reason.
Absolutely.
You know, and it's
I think she has too, because I think she knows what Violet is. I think she knows what Violet is. I think she knows she's different and knows, like, how.
Yeah, and I think it also ties into, like, something to do with Papa Sorrengail's death. Like, I think Lilith knew something sketchy happened, because after he died, essentially it was when she freaked out and made Violet go to the Writer's Quadrant instead. She was like, you cannot go to the Scribe's Quadrant. You have to become a writer.
Right. Because didn't it say that, like, Violet almost died in birth? Like,
Lilith
her mother
died.
Lilith almost died.
Like, Lilith was sick and almost died or something. Like, it was a very traumatic experience. But it's like, you know, Violet had trained forever, and then, like, 6 months before conscription day, her mom's like, no, you're going to the Writer's Quadrant. Like, and would not budge on it for a reason. But in that exchange early in the book, she believed Violet could do it. Like, even says, I think you can do it. So I was like, okay, that's a mixed signal. But that's what made me think she's playing a front to everybody.
Absolutely.
That, like, that relationship's not great and she doesn't care, because I think she's trying to protect Violet, because Lilith knows something.
Something's off.
We find out more of the somethings later, but I think there's more that we don't know yet.
Oh,
we've
yeah.
not been given.
Oh, yeah.
But, you know, and I love after they have this awkward exchange, like, Violet's like, oh, we're all flying, because even, like, Andarna's there, and, you know, Xaden's like, yeah, we're learning today. I gotta figure out why the crap you can't stay on your dragon. And Darna has to learn how to keep up. Taryn has to learn how to, you know, fly closer to dragons. And Sigil has to learn how not to lead. I'm like, I love that, just, like, rundown of so much information, though. You know,
like he is trying to figure out problems.
Good. Yeah, like, he's like, okay, let's figure it out. And we know he's a problem solver, because he's like, probabilities and possibilities are very different things. He's like, focus on what is probable. But, and I love, like, right after this, it's like squad battle. You know, like, Liam's on the
love
mat.
squad battle.
They're like neck and neck. So they do all these challenges. They like run the gauntlet. There's a flying course. There's matches. Like all this craziness. Like so much angst, anxiety, tension is like, you know, they're yelling at the mat because Liam's about to just like lay into this other cadet.
Yeah.
And I love, they start noticing, like, where's upper leadership? Like, they haven't seen Dane, Sienna, like, none of the executive officers. They can't. Then they drop the nugget of, like, okay, you have to get an important piece of information that would be important to our enemies. You have, like, 3-4 hours to do it, and then you have to meet back in battle brief room, you know?
Right.
And I love this because it's like, no one in the Iron Squad wants to be the leader. Like, Imogen just does it, and she's like, what about Hedon? What about Emery? And they're like, no, we're good.
No,
like,
we're good.
You know, and, like, they offer it to Liam as, like, you have leader potential, and he's like, no, I'm protecting Violet. She's like, no one's trying to off me right now. Like, do it. And he's like, no, I'm good. Like, he won't do it.
Right.
But I love it how they're all throwing around these ideas, and I like how Riddick's like, hey, and Rhiannon's like, no. You'll tell us to steal someone's underwear or something because it would be funny. You know, like, I just love that, like, comic relief we get from him.
Right.
And I like Violet's wheels are turning. She's like, information. Sure. And then Liam's like, oh, can we break into the archives? And she's like, no. He's like, okay, that'd be a good one, but no. Because, like, the archives lock down at a certain time. No one gets in or out for so many hours. But her idea is great. And I love it how Imogen, of all people, is like, no, let's hear it. I want to know. I see your wheels turning. And they're all immediately like, yes, let's plan it. Like, they planned the best heist ever that we know in this series.
They really did. And it's just like...
But I love we get a quick download of everybody's signets, you know, too, because we find out, like, Quinn can astral project, which is so cool. Emery can breathe underwater. Like, there's such cool things.
Yes.
And it's like, what? And Nadine can unlock wards. Yes. So I'm like, I love that scene where they break into General Sorrengail's office. Like, and I also like it when they take out one of the guards and Violet, like, poisons him to, like, knock him out for a few hours. And they're like, you're scary. She's like, okay. Like, she like brushes it off, and like, and there's nuggets in there when they're going through Lilith's office. You know, they're looking at all these letters, and there's all these attacks, and they're needing more troops and more funding here, and they're trying to, like, squelch rebellion discussions. You know, and it's like, that's interesting. And then they see the map that is the key to everything happening in Navarre, and I love it because it has the most up to date, like. And just, like, them getting it out of her office and getting back to battle brief is
so good.
And I love it because it notes, like, Dane's, like, fuming because they run in, like, just under the wire. I mean, like, and, you know, all the other squads are, like, presenting their things. And, like, some of them are funny. Like, someone's journal. Someone's... I feel bad, like, the poor scribe that has, like, their mouth, like, tongue-tied. It's like, oh.
Like, he can't say things clear, like... They even say, like, he's disheveled and it looks like he's been drug out of bed.
Yeah, it's like they ripped him out of bed and, like, gagged him. You know, like, magically.
Like, magically gagged him.
And, like, the infantry uniform that has, like, their rank and everything on it. Like,
which
they got good stuff.
Yes,
and I love how it's like, okay, it's their turn, and Imogen's like, it was your idea. You say it. And she's like, we have this map of whatever, and, like, the professor's like, okay, how do you know it's accurate? She goes, because we stole it from General Sorrengail's office. And it's like mayhem. Like, everyone's like freaking out. Happens. It's like, because you know, like, later we find out why they were freaking out.
Yeah.
Because they were hiding some stuff. Like, there's stuff on that map that they're not supposed to know.
Exactly. Like, we know they're not sharing information.
Yeah, and it's like, how deep does that go? How many professors know what's going on, you know, and all this stuff. But it's so good. I love that moment where she's like, makes eye contact with Xaden, and he, like, tips his hat. Like,
he's just like,
you know, he was, like, cracking up.
Like, he was like,
realize what they had done. Like, excellent. You know, for multiple reasons. One, because, like, they stole it from the general's office, and just, like, all of it.
I do, because it's just awesome.
I love it. Yes, it was so fun. That whole scene was so fun to read because they were working together as a squad.
Yes.
Like, they were using each other's strengths and trusting each other.
Yes,
you know,
which we haven't seen
get
at
it
this
done.
point.
No, we don't get any of that. Like, this is a war college, but there's no teamwork involved.
No, which is
Truthfully.
crazy.
Yeah, but I love that. So they win and get to go to Montserrat.
Yeah.
It's like a Midland post. So they're not like
Yes.
on the front line, but they're like close to the front line.
I think, are they still, here, let me pull it. I think that Montserrat is still in the war.
It's within the wards, yeah. They
Yes,
call it
he
like a
is still the
Midland
ward.
post.
Yes. But it's north.
And so they fly, they fly with Professor De Vera. I think she's the only professor that goes, and it's
think
like
so.
their whole squad.
Mhm.
And I like how it starts foreshadowing because it's like Ree is getting really quiet and kind of just like you can tell something's up.
Yeah.
And then like we find out it's because they're super close to where Ree's from, and I'm like, I got so excited. I'm like, oh, we're sneaking out. I'm like, we're gonna go do so. And I like how Tare is like grumpy, crotchety. He's like, oh, it's like a 5-minute flight. It's fine. It's nowhere.
Yeah.
It's like, we'll just pop over there. I love it. But we also get Mira, like,
Mira!
you know, because Violet has no idea where her sister's at. There's no communication outside the college. And so, like, I love that exchange. And Mira's like, you didn't die. And, like, Imogen's like, Sorgales are weird.
like, you have no idea. I just love it.
But it's just funny, and like they split them up because like at the out at the posts and stuff, you know, the flight crews are split. Like some are on patrol, some are sleeping, and some are doing this. So like they're not all on shift technically at the same time, which makes a lot of sense. But I love it when Mira and Violet and Rhea are trying to sneak out, and I picture like the worst sneaking in the world.
I do too. Like limbs snapping, and they're like, "Shit, God!"
Or like you're giggling, you know, like when you try to do something, like when you're kids, you're like laughing, like, "Oh no," you know, like.
And Mira's just
and like they run smack into Mira, and she's like, "Well, in my defense, I didn't think you were going to be here." You know? She's like. But I love
like,
how
okay,
they like
I'm just gonna go
fess
with you.
up, and they guilt like Mira, who's like a top rider known for her like valor and all this, and she's like, okay, I'll go with you, you know. She's like, clearly I'm not changing your mind, fine, you know. They guilt her with like the big sister move, basically. Like,
yes, they do. And she's just like, fine. So then we get that good Violet and Mira interaction where Violet sees that huge scar on her face, and she's like,
but I love how we get that
from?
scene of them just like having a drink at someone's table, but they're reminiscing how they didn't have that growing up. Like, that family is like, they call it happy, which is sad.
Yeah.
But I'm like, I guess that's the difference of a military family in this world versus a non-military family. You know, like.
It very much makes sense.
Yeah. But I love that exchange, and they're like leaving, and it says Mira automatically is like suspicious of what's outside.
Yeah.
And that's when Violet asked that question, and Xaden's like 3 days.
Yeah.
You know, like, so
I'm like, she's just like, how long can he be away with?
Yeah, but it's funny because like Violet notes Taryn's been quiet throughout this whole exchange, and she's like, that's odd. You know, like, yeah, because this girl come to see him, you know.
Yeah.
Like, he had things
apparently
to do.
they can only be separated for 3 days, and Xaden's like, turns out 3 days max.
Yeah, you know, and because Mira's like, well, bonded pairs, you know.
Hey, can you hear me?
Hello.
Hello. Welcome back for our brief hiatus from our last episode. Due to Tennessee weather and work schedules, we're having to come back and record the ending of this episode on a completely different day. So anyone watching the video can tell this is not the same clip.
No, not at all. The last time you saw us,
are.
we were in a tornado. It's okay. It wasn't an actual tornado, but you never know.
But it could have been. It's getting kind of dicey around our houses.
It was.
We were in the midst of discussing when Violet and Rhiannon convinced Mira to go with them to Rihanna's family's house. And, you know, we got that lovely clip of the sisters reminiscing on, like, their childhood and how different it was compared to what Rhiannon has, and kind of like that's really nice to see. We definitely didn't have that, kind of things and stuff. And
Right.
I think one of the last things we were talking about as they were leaving, Mira's like spidey senses go off. And then about that time, Violet's like, "Oh, have you been stationed with any mated pairs? How long can they be separated?" And Xaden steps out of the shadows. Turns out like, 3 days.
3 days. Turns out 3 days. Lol.
Which is so funny because it's just like, oh crap, Xaden and Sigil are here. Like on the first read, I was like, oh. And I didn't really think about the implications of that until I was getting further in those chapters where it's like, Mira's on him, like, oh, Violet's going to sacrifice all these things and da-da-da-da-da. We get a lovely, like, back and forth.
Yes, we do.
Essentially a battle brief between Dane and Xaden and them. It's like, ooh, I loved it because their other writers were like, you want to whip it out and measure? Like, it's like, oh, no.
I guess this is what we're going to be doing. What I love is, like,
it was just so funny, that stretch.
Yes. And then, like, right before Xaden pops out, like, there's a big foreshadowing where Mira and Violet are talking about the bedtime story that their dad used to read them, which was about Venin. And I wrote a quote down, and it's about when Mira says, she's like, you need to stay away from Xaden. You need to stay away from Xaden. Meanwhile, she doesn't know that Xaden's literally, like, here, like, directly behind her, ready to talk. And then she, they're like, they talk about the bedtime story, and you see the difference. And then Mira says something where she's like, I'll never get why the villains choose to corrupt their souls and turn Venin. And that is just a huge foreshadowing for the whole series, because we know that the Venin are our enemies, and we know that, like, it is a choice. From what we understand at this point, we understand is a choice to become Venin. There aren't baby Venin running around with their little purple skin, like their little purple baby onesies instead of a robe. Like, it is very much a choice to steal energy from the earth and become an alien. They're like, hey, I'm ready to, like, destroy this garden because screw bananas. I wanted apples for dinner. So there aren't baby Venin running around. We do know it's a choice, and we do know that this is huge, huge foreshadowing for us.
It is, and I like, because in that same conversation, Mira's like, I didn't used to understand it, but I kind of do, because when you have channel from a dragon, you've got untapped power that people are envying. Like, even the Griffin Flyers have very similar powers, which we don't know the ins and outs of that just yet. Like, we learn that later, but it's funny when you find yourself on the side of understanding the quote-unquote villain, and you're like, oh no, like, what is that foreshadowing is what I want to know now after reading Fourth Wing and Iron Flame and Onyx Storm. I'm like, what else is happening that we've not been told after reading that section,
Oh, there's so much, and, like, I feel like Rebecca Yarros is holding back so much, and then we're going to get a book, and I don't know if it'll be the next book. I don't know how many books she says that this series is going to be.
She has said it's going to be 5, so I'm like, we're about to get an information dump in 4. Are we just going to get what we get and be fine with it? Like, legitimately.
We're either going to cure Xaden or he's going to be Anakin Skywalker. That's it. That's the only thing I've got. But you know what? Like, this is a total, like right field. But if Anakin Skywalker, if Xaden Ryerson came up and was like, you know what? I'm the bad guy. I'd be like, heck yeah. Which town are we burning down next? I am not as powerful.
I just see all green lights, okay? All green lights.
I'm like, red flag, who? Not me.
No. But it's just so funny, that exchange, and then, right after that, they're back at Montserrat in their, like, section. They're breaking it down because, like, half their squad's split off, like, flying around, checking things, and they're going through. And Mira gives them an excellent exercise. Like, let's have a pretend scenario. Then you realize that every writer is super literal, like a child, and has no abstract thought. Like, in this scene, it cracked me up so much.
She's like, okay, that's fine, but, like, what if you did this? Yeah. Okay, that's fine. What if you did this? Okay, be like, okay, so the books are good, but your enemies aren't reading a chapter book.
Yeah. It's just so funny, and I love how this is where Xaden decides to like throw it out there that he can like talk into Violet's mind, and he's like cracking up in her head.
Yes.
Like,
yes, and she's like,
so
hello, what?
funny.
I just like, and it's like, hello, through the bond of, Taryn and Sigale, that's how he can talk in their mind, when really we're like, we know what's happening now. But when
Well,
this
like
thing
anyone
really
that's read lots of other fantasies where there's like magic and all these other, you instantly go to like mating bonds because they're so
exactly,
rare.
you're like,
but, that's it. And, like,
the
is that
super
what
rare
this
mating
is?
bond that happens with everyone.
Right. But it's like, okay, the dragons can have mates. So is it a possibility that it's like, I don't know, like I can't think of the word now, like your person, like you found
Yes.
your exact
Yes.
person or whatever, a
Your
fated
perfect match.
whatever individual. There it is, her lobster. But like,
lobster.
you know. But it's just fun. I like that exchange, and you know, because they're going back and forth, and like Liam's like throwing like side eye at them because he knows something's up, and Zeta's just like goading Dane, like, you can't let me
Yes.
just make a jerk of yourself, like, keep talking,
Right.
buddy, like, this is entertainment
on.
because I'm not even
Have
supposed
a
to be
feast.
here.
Yes, act like a
and-
dumbass. I don't care.
The really entertaining part is, like, as anyone who has read this series knows, Rebecca has given us Xaden POV chapters after the fact.
Yes.
Like, I don't know if, like, and so we get a Xaden POV of this chapter, and Sigale is in his head making fun of him so hard because it wasn't the dragons not being able
Yeah.
to be apart. It was Xaden could not get his thoughts away from Violet.
Oh, for sure.
And
He was
Sigale's
like, I
like,
need...
yeah, she's like mocking him, and it's great because there's a scene
Yeah.
he's talking, you know, it's like, oh, you know, Taryn and Sigale are mated, and da da da. Dane's like 3 days, they couldn't make it 3 days, and even in the Violet's perspective, she's defending Xaden,
Yeah.
and you know, Xaden says in her head, maybe it was you I couldn't stay away from. Like, so he's a little bit honest. Like,
He
he
is.
just kind of throws it out there just a smidge, but getting his perspective also gives away a lot of things that are to come to the end of this book. Like, he had ulterior motives. Like, yes, he wanted to know how Violet was doing and what was up. Was Atos, like, being Atos, essentially. Because all the marked ones are terrified of Atos reading their memories.
Right.
Because they up to some stuff.
Absolutely.
Like,
Absolutely.
we know
It's
there's a
sketchy
lot
as hell.
going on. Right, and Sigale's like, well, this would be a good time to drop off the things they've been sharing with other
Right.
people and stuff. You know, avoid a few spoilers here, but you know, it's just funny because she goads them, and like Mira calls them all out on it too. Like,
Yeah, she
no
does.
qualms about it. Like,
Right.
after they lay out the good scenario with like how do you use your strengths and your weaknesses and everything, and I like how Mira just does not care because one of the writers was like, but then I have to get off my dragon. She's like, why do you think we learn hand-to-hand combat, boy? Like,
Yeah.
she's just
Like,
like,
yeah, you're gonna
and?
have to get to the point you think you can just ride on a dragon all the time. Like, no, you can't. I mean, given,
Right.
dragons are a huge advantage, but at the same time, you're gonna
At
have
some
to
point, you
get
have
your
to
ass
be off your
off the dragon.
dragon. Yeah. It's just funny. And they go through that. So Mira's like, all right, the rest of you are done, but Violet, Xaden, and Atos, get out here because she's about to chew them up one side and down the
Yes,
other.
she
Like,
is.
I love it. And, like, this is still where, like, Dane is super annoying to probably all of us readers. I don't know if anyone's still, like, loving Dane at this point when they're reading this book.
No, I don't think
wrote him
anyone
off
at
long
this
ago.
point.
At this point is like still trying to like defend Dane Atos at
Right.
this point. But he's like, oh, sound shield, and she's like, don't be a kiss ass. Like,
Yeah, like,
you know, and she just like
come on.
rides him. And, you know, and she's talking to Violet after she sends Dane away, like, Zayden's not even there, you know, like, going off, like, you don't even know him, you don't know what his motives are, da-da-da-da-da, like, pointing out all of her insecurities about this,
Yeah.
you know, relationship already.
Yeah.
Because we know they're supposed to be enemies, but they have not been enemies at all. They're just supposed
No,
to be
girl.
enemies.
Girl was like, I need it. She's like, this is the most beautiful man I've ever seen. And you're just like, he's literally trying to kill you. But we know, and then we
Yeah.
know that Xaden's not actually trying to kill Violet. Ever.
No, even
Ever.
if he wanted to, he probably wanted to, but he still had to take a deal to protect the marked
Right.
one. So he, you know, Um, it's entertaining. And then he's like, I'm right here. She's like, I'm well aware. He goes, no, no, no. I left my wing to come here, like, and lays it out, and that's when I was like, oh snap, I wasn't even thinking about his responsibilities,
Right.
As Gaiath, as a wing leader, that he had to leave other people in charge and everything. And I was like, well, he is showing up, like, but it can't question what's going to happen next year when he's not there, when he's like a full-fledged lieutenant and she's still a second year, and all this, which
it's
I have lots of questions about that. So.
Well, and it's kind of like when you're in high school and the freshman is dating the senior. You're like, what's gonna happen when they graduate?
Yeah, it's like, we know how this is gonna go.
Sure, you got to go to prom, but at what cost?
Well, I'm just saying, like, because relationships struggle when there's distance. That's just
absolutely they do. Absolutely,
can they survive it? Absolutely. But it's hard.
Yeah,
like,
for
it's
sure.
A very difficult thing. And then you throw in, like, moody dragons in the mix of it in a war college. I was like...
And death.
That's what everyone's question is. Yeah, and a little bit of death, It's like, what's going to happen? What's going to happen? And nobody knows. Because I'm like, okay, I understand. So if a mated pair doesn't have bonded riders, we're both got a bond this year, right? Right. Like, I mean, is that how that discussion goes down? So they don't have to deal with this, so they both get people in the same year?
I guess. I can't wait to get a book on dragons. She's got to give us a dragon book. She's got to. That's just it. She's got to give us a dragon book.
I want to, like, do a big deep dive in dragon lore, but I feel like we are still missing so many pieces of that puzzle.
Yeah. Absolutely,
and we probably could still do one and then do a follow-up one, like, eventually when we get book 4 and 5.
Yes.
When we know how the story actually plays out.
Be like, well, we were wrong. But here we are.
Wrong on all accounts. But, because this dragon lore stuff is so interesting in everybody's story when they write it. But how she set it up is very interesting.
Yes, it is.
Because there's a lot of moving parts and stuff that we still don't really understand at the end of Storm either. It's like, okay, we got introduced to a new breed of dragon in Onyx Storm. Well, technically at the end of Iron Flame, but it was like we realized, like, oh, there are 7 breeds, not just the 6 we keep hearing about and everything.
Right.
But in this moment, it's entertaining how all that works. And I want to know how their, like, a governing body, how the Empyrean actually works.
Yes, for sure.
Because they're always like, the elders did this, the elders did that of the den and everything. I'm like, but your dragons intermingle. Like Tyrion and Sigil. She's a blue, he's a black dragon. So I'm like, it's interesting to me. And there's not a lot of all the colors out there. So I'm just like, do y'all get to vote on all of it? Like, do y'all all show up for the big things and discuss it? Kind of like they did at Threshing,
Yeah. Be like, well, which one are we taking out? Which one are we keeping?
Yeah. Because, Tyrion says the Empyrean's very divided on a lot of issues. We find out big time later just how divided they are.
Yeah, they are.
Things.
Yeah, they are.
And in the same moment, like, Mira finds out Violet can't keep her seat still and freaks out. You know. And Xaden's trying to be like, well, she's getting better. It's still terrible, but it's better.
Yeah.
It's
still crap, but, it's better than day one.
Yeah. And it's just great because we get that moment when all of a sudden the Griffins are attacking the keep and everything. And so everyone's scrambling to get out of here. Violet is terrified to leave her sister. But she makes note that Xaden's bag looks empty compared to what it was when he got here. It's because he dropped off something. Like we find that out.
We'll get to some
POV and later in the book. But... And, she's mad, and Dane's actually like, I agree with him on this one. You got to go because other people will make it, but the other first years won't. Like, we have to get out of here. And, she still can't mount a dragon like anybody else. Like, she has to have certain things, and you get that whole exchange. Everyone's trying to mount and get out and everything, and Xaden's like, yes, I will get her to safety, I promise. Yeah. So,
Griffins are coming! Griffins are coming! The British are coming! The Griffins are coming!
What it sounded like.
Literally, that's what I pictured in my head. And then I picture in that moment, like, in the comedy movies where everybody just looks at each other and it's just like, ah! And just takes off running
like
at the same time.
Pause of what are we about to do, and then total chaos happens.
Yes.
Like, it's kind of like, since we're both medical and there's a code situation on the floor, it's like calm in the chaos. Everyone has a job,
Absolutely.
and they're doing the job, but it is completely chaotic.
Everywhere. Unless
From
you're
the
in certain
moment it
departments,
is
then that's a whole
called,
nother
yeah.
thing.
But you know, like the moment it's called, chaos ensues.
Absolutely.
And then when it's done, you just have to have a minute to like defrag from it. This is what I feel like happens when any of like the keeps are attacked. It's like total chaos until the dust settles.
Yep.
You know,
absolutely.
and like as she gets on Taryn, she's looking down and she sees Griffins like attacking and all this, so she's freaking out.
Yeah.
And she's livid at Xaden at this point because he kissed her to distract her.
Yeah, and then he says like
And-
arms up, and I'm like, oh, you rat
As soon as he was like,
Arms
leave
up,
for
and then
me,
Taryn-
and it was like, arms up, I was like, oh. And she even says it. She's like, I will hate you. And he's like, I guess I'll have to live with it. You know, like,
Yeah.
just like, how to do it, you know, like, but it's just so like, oh my gosh.
I know.
And could you imagine, though, like, having siblings, having to leave them in a chaos situation? And it's not like you can call them.
Yeah.
And you're just sitting there waiting. Like, you're back at Best Gaiath safely.
Yeah, just
you're like,
waiting.
no one's going to tell me how my sister's doing, how
Yeah.
my brother's doing.
Yeah.
None
We
of
had-
it. I'm like, ooh.
Yeah, at our house, I have a younger sister, and at our house, the general unspoken rule was, you don't come home without your sister. So
Absolutely.
it don't matter,
Yeah.
but you don't come home
Yeah.
without your sister. So in this moment where we see Violet having to go away and seeing all the people she cares about most, Xaden, Mira, everybody fighting what we think is like the enemy at this point, is crazy. It's one of those things. So
It's yes, in my house I had an older brother, and the rule was as long as I stayed with him we could go do anything pretty
absolutely.
much. Like, all rules were off the table at that point, as long as we both were at the same place where we were supposed to be.
Yes, absolutely.
And it's just, but that whole emotional thing, and you know, I feel like Rhiannon would probably understand that because she went a while without getting to see her
Yes.
sister and her newborn nephew and everything.
Yes.
But it doesn't really mention any of her other squad mates having siblings other than like Liam, who
Right.
hasn't seen his sister in 6 years. Because it never
Right.
says, like, it makes it sound like he has not seen her since their parents were assassinated or
Right.
executed.
Absolutely.
You know, Xaden doesn't have any siblings.
Right.
So, like, he has people he thinks of as brothers, but he doesn't have any flesh and blood kind of siblings. You know, he didn't really grow up with someone. But, so, like, she's kind of all alone. Like, it doesn't even mention that Atos has a sibling.
Right. It's
You
just,
know.
we don't see that dynamic with very many of them. And I wonder if it's just
No.
because, like, there's a high rate of death at Basgaiath, or if it's just, it just is what it is.
Well, and, like, we know, like, Riddick speaks about his dad in later books. Rhiannon, we know, has a family. Sawyer says his parents, but I don't remember it mentioning him having, like, a sibling.
Right.
Imogen's sister was killed
Yeah.
in the rebellion with her
Yeah.
mom.
Well,
Like, she
Xaden-
says that, you
Yeah.
know. And so it doesn't really get into that. And I'm also like, is that just because it's not come up? Because we are getting everything from Violence lens.
Mm-hmm.
But there's a high death. So I'm like, I'm sure a lot of them have had siblings go through the quadrant and just haven't
Yeah,
made
and
it.
just don't make it.
You know.
So.
But it's just a gut-wrenching, if anyone's ever been important to you in your life and you have to leave them in a dire situation, it's not cool. It's like if a family member
No.
is rushed through the ER in surgery and you can't find out anything.
Yep. And you
You
just
know.
have to sit and wait. And sit and wait. And sit and wait.
I don't sit and wait well. I'm like, who can I talk to that's gonna tell me the deets that I need to know?
Yeah, I'm a
Excuse
caller.
me.
I'm like, hello.
Yeah, I'm gonna ask.
can you
Like,
tell
and
me
unfortunately,
something
I'm
about this?
pretty much on everyone in my entire family is like, yes, you can tell her the details list, so I can get the information. But you know, in that scenario, it's just kind of like she just had to leave, and they were like 6+ hours away too. So
Yes.
it's not like she could sneak back off with Taryn. And
Nope.
it's too far away. So if Taryn and Sigale had any dragon buddies to reach out, it's not like Taryn could reach out to Tiny and be like, "Is Mira okay?"
Right.
They're too far away. 'Cause,
Right.
you know, dragons have their own way of communication, not just like mated pairs. They all talk telepathically,
Right.
I assume. I don't know. Like, it's a very interesting, cool thing.
It is. But it's just one of those things that, like, again, we don't know anything about. One day,
But
Rebecca Garros
at the
will let
same
us
time,
know.
the struggle is too. This series is called the Empyrean series, but we're only finding out about the writers.
Yes, and
what
I don't
they
even
do.
under,
We're
like,
not getting that much of the Empyrean.
And I
I'm
can't
like,
even
there's a
go for
reason.
there. I can't even
There's a
go. I
reason.
can't even. But luckily, that kind
Yeah.
of brings us at a good point to
Absolutely.
be like, okay, this is where, we're kind of at a high point. We're kind of at what happens to Mira. What happens to Xaden.
Yeah, it's all good things. But this is where we will leave you guys on
Yes.
this episode. And we will dive back in as to how Violet goes about finding out what's her sister up to. Is her sister alive? Is she injured? All the fun things.
All the fun
and
things.
It makes us dislike Colonel Markham even more because he's a jerk.
Oh, so much more.
But-
So much more. He is on my shit list.
Yes, but if you have stuck around, please, and I hope you enjoy this, stick around for part 3 that will come out next week and everything, and share any of your fun theories, takeaways,
Yes.
any of the fun stuff throughout this journey, and we'll catch you next time.
Yes.